On this week's episode of the Super Chevy Bros Podcast, Mom returns and digs deep in her soul to forgive the forsaken Liam Neeson, while Chevall and Chevar talk about pause button disabilities before going over Capcom's game showcase. Can the Switch 2 evade World War III? Is Pokemon Go stupid? Is Mom a time traveler? Find out now on the Super Chevy Brother to Podcast. Satit.
Okay, welcome back to the Super Chevy Bros Podcast. This is episode 143. I have to apologize. I got last episode out extremely late. And, but hey, I mean, happy 4th of July. You got that one. But this is July 6th. The 7-6. Okay? And we're back. Guess who's back today? Mom is back today. She didn't leave us today. And Biko is, of course, always here. Well, I guess not. I guess he's here now. So, how was your 4th of July?
Oh, we just had good. That, didn't we? Oh, that was for you. Go ahead.
It was for everyone.
Well, it was for both of us.
Go ahead, mother.
I made crab rolls, which was pretty fun. It took me forever because I had to break 80 crabs open, but that was fun.
That sounds fun.
Got to enjoy a little bit of the fireworks for a minute before I had to go inside and make sure the pets were okay because they start freaking out as soon as it's different when you have one pet that's freaking out at home with fireworks and you just leave them alone. When you have four, they might hurt each other, so you kind of got to be there for a little bit. But yeah, my 4th of July was good. Did that. Played a lot of Elden Ring. Started playing Dragon's Crown again. Yeah, it was good little holiday. I was happy to get part of the week off. Kind of sucked I had to go back to work the next day, but it is what it is.
Bruh, ain't that the truth? Now, speaking of animals, we went to watch the fireworks, right, Mom?
Yes.
All right. So, it kind of, you know what? It felt like, you haven't been to India? No. But it felt like it because all those people on the train. We were kind of sat at very close to a train station, like a train track, right?
Yes,
and then you
literally.
see fireworks over the tree line, and then you look to the left, and there are these trains that don't move. They move, but they come back, right? And there's a ton of people up on the trains and hanging off the sides, and they're all children too, which really made it feel. Yeah, but it was a good time. We had jerk chicken and all that stuff. I didn't play any games. Didn't have time. Yeah. Anything else to that, Mom?
That's pretty much 4th of July. Not a lot. Jerk chicken and fireworks.
Are we gonna talk about the play, or is that for after?
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, I don't have a movie, so I have a movie, but I don't think anyone here wants to hear about Despicable Me.
What is it? Despicable
She
Me?
saw Despicable
Hey,
Me.
listen.
I'm sorry?
As somebody, listen, this is just a fun fact. My wife has been trying to get me to watch those movies.
Oh,
recently,
Despicable?
so,
The
yeah, 'cause
Minions.
she grew up watching them, so she wanted me to watch it. But I still haven't seen a single one.
I saw number 4. Yeah.
Do you need to see 1 through 3 to understand?
Yeah, you kind of.
Yeah, you do.
And Minions. You need to see Minions too. Minions 1, Minions 2.
It'll make a little more sense.
It makes everything make more sense. Otherwise, it's just really silly, like what's happening. But then because I never watch any of those movies. I was in Japan. Walking down the street was enough Minion for me.
Okay.
I did not need any more Minion in my life.
Oh my
Whoa.
god.
No,
Yikes.
Minions is extremely popular in Japan. Despicable Me.
Oh,
People
okay,
dress
okay,
up.
okay.
They have the little goggles. They have the overalls, right? And then like just the normal fashion of these overly baggy overalls, where like you can throw stuff in them, like because they're so baggy. And this. I had plenty of Minions in Japan. That's my cover for what I said.
I'll give you my version. I went through childhood movies, children's movies with both of you a few years apart. So I was done with children's movies, but here we are. Once again. So I had watched 3. I'm not even sure why. It must have been also because of Noble that I watched 3. So I knew what was happening in 4. It made a lot more sense. I can't guarantee you I watched the first 2 because, again, that's not my thing.
I have not seen the first 2. I have seen Minions. And whatever the one where they got the superpowers, I saw that one.
Oh, well, they got him again in this one, so kind of interesting. Not sure really why, but they did. So, what's his name? Carell?
Hmm?
He's the Gru guy. So it's just Despicable Me 4.
Yeah, I mean,
And he's grown up. He's got a family, and he used to be one of the top. What is it? He wanted to be part of the
villains. He was a super villain.
6 villains, the 6 worst villains.
Secret 6.
That's
People
what
say.
number 3 was about.
Yeah.
And so they didn't really want him because they were all so bad, but he ended up being worse than them. So it turned around where he went to the other side. He became a bad boy. And then the villains came after him. And then it all stemmed from something that happened in high school. It was just a whole thing. And it was about roaches a lot. I put my popcorn down because I'm just not into bugs while I'm eating. So there's a roach factor. Yeah, the villain was like a giant roach. And anyway.
Yeah, cartoon roaches, though, that's different. It's a
No.
cartoon.
He was too good. It was too well drawn. This is Pixel, right? Pixar?
Pixar.
Yeah. So
Pixel,
yeah. Yeah, in pixels. But they do it too well. So, yeah, it was very cockroachy. Yeah. I was really trying to say, oh, this is cute cartoon cockroaches, but they just did them a little too well. And I think they realized that in part of the movie and moved on. So
Well,
I
speaking of
recommend
things-
it. It's a cute movie, for kids and stuff. Like life lessons and all that. It was a little creepy, though. There was this relationship Gru had with the neighborhood girl, and I thought it was kind of weird. I don't know.
It's
when
a
you
kid's
watch
movie,
it,
Mom.
I don't know. Maybe
It's a groomer. The grooming.
He was kind of grooming, and that's a good one, Chevar. I don't know. You see it and you tell me if it wasn't a little weird.
That's
I
kind
mean,
of
his name is Gru. Right?
It is Gru.
Look, something else that's not going to make you comfortable, Mom. I watched a Liam Neeson movie yesterday, 2 days ago.
What?
It was actually, it's kind of like,
No.
it wasn't like this amazing movie.
You're
it was
just
low
old.
budget.
Wait, does mom not like Liam Neeson? What's going on?
Hell no.
I mean, think about
Wait,
it.
is it
It's
because
got
at
to be.
that time
It's
he
got to
said
be.
he is it because
Yeah,
that
he
time
hunted
said
black
killed a
men
black
down in
person
London to
because
beat
his friend got
Yes.
raped? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. That's
Did y'all sidebar? Did y'all ever see the Atlanta episode that he was in?
No, I did not.
Oh, y'all gotta watch the last season of Atlanta. That shit is funny.
Here's the thing, man. How can a guy who goes from Dark Man be anti-Dark Man? Like, it just doesn't make sense.
Because he's a what? Oh, let me shut up. Yeah.
No.
Listen,
you know
all-
what?
all-
Though?
all that-
hey,
all that happened with
we were
Liam
talking
Neeson
What
about
was
this
with
earlier.
all the hate, though?
We were talking about this earlier. Okay, we were talking about this earlier. People change. I mean, that was like when
That's
he
what I was
the-
thinking, Mom.
the-
You just
Oh,
said that like not that
no.
long
That was
ago.
like 40 years ago.
Yeah,
that
for
was like, Mom.
Biden.
That was like several. No,
For
for
Biden.
Liam
No,
Neeson
for
too.
him, it
no,
was
for
like
Liam
No.
Neeson, it was
That was
several
not.
decades ago.
He was 20 years old or something.
Mom, you don't remember the story then. It was 20 years ago. That's literally what he was saying. It wasn't just
No, it
last
wasn't
week.
20 years ago.
He
how-
wasn't-
No, it wasn't.
It was it was older than that. Liam Neeson tries beating black guy.
And that's the thing. My favorite part of this is that the whole part of him saying it is that he said he was ashamed of it. Like he wasn't saying like he still agreed with it. He was saying that, yeah, I wish I didn't think like that. But
yeah, I mean, that's a long time ago. The guy could.
Yeah, it was like a decade.
Changed.
Okay, I'm looking it up. It was literally like over a decade before. It was like 2 decades.
A
before.
decade before
He was
what?
Before
he
what?
was in his 50s, and this happened when he was like in his 20s.
Yeah, it's 30 years.
Yeah.
Maybe
You know,
that's why he played Darkman. I don't know.
Yeah, Mom.
Yeah,
guess
maybe
what?
after that, he was like-
less than 30 years ago, Biden was trying to do Republican shit. So I mean, if we're gonna say Biden can improve, we can say the same thing for Liam Neeson.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, he can. I didn't know it was that long ago.
Yeah, it was a long, long time ago.
Yeah, because I should have read the whole story. Because once I read that, I stopped watching.
You
any
didn't
of
watch
his
the
movies.
interview?
No, I didn't want to see his face after that.
Well, I think he came to say. I think the whole thing was he was coming to talk about how bad it was and share his story.
Yeah,
because
he was talking about
he
how
shared
ashamed
it.
he
No one
was.
asked him. He shared it like it's a very shameful, thing. I can't do a Liam Neeson voice. Punch kick. That's what he does. But yeah,
Well, good. He should be ashamed.
Yeah,
He was.
Yeah, no, that was the thing. That was
just-
the entire point. So here's the thing, right? The joke around it is that the entire point is that he was ashamed. Nobody looked past what the comment was. Everybody just saw the comment, and everybody thinks, "Oh, Liam Neeson hates black people." Even though the entire point of him was saying, "Yeah, I'm stupid because I thought that long time ago." I remember reading this, and my very first thought was, "Bro, why would you tell anybody that? Why would
Yeah,
you say
that-
we don't need to
Yeah.
know that? You could have just
No,
kept
but
that to
you-
yourself.
but
You
you-
did
but you
not
know
need
what?
to tell us that."
you know what? I'm happy he did because I'm sure it kind of goes with what we were talking about earlier. I'm sure some white dude who's in his feelings saw that and was like, "I'm ashamed too when I hunted black guys in the street."
I hope that's the
I'm laughing.
case.
I just read a whole article that from Vox talking about how he's a bad person for this, and I get to the end, and an Indian person wrote it. What are you doing? You
Oh,
don't need to be talking
please.
about this. Why
Oh,
are you talking
please.
about this? Shut up. What? Nobody's asked.
Well,
Nobody
if
asked
that
you. Get
is
outta
in
here.
fact the case, I have a lot of Liam Neeson movies to catch up on.
Okay. Well, I watched
I mean,
one
you don't
that
have
was
that
called.
many. Let's relax.
Yeah, this kind of ruined his career.
I
Actually,
do some real bark.
I watched one. I don't remember. I think it's based on a book or something. Because you can tell when a movie's based on a book by like how freaking horrible the pacing is. But it was one where a bunch of people are in the plane. They're oil rig workers. The plane crashes in the middle of like Alaska or northern Canada or something, and it was I don't know. It wasn't like an amazing movie. It was worth the watch. Don't remember the name. Not Into the Wild. Oh my god. It's if you see it on the streaming service, it's got Liam Neeson staring you dead eye in the camera with snow on his beard.
Cold Pursuit.
I don't think
No, that movie
let's
came out
see.
like 5 years ago.
Liam Neeson oil
Gray?
rig. The Gray. I think it's The Gray. Yeah, that's 10 years old. See, look, he ruined everything. We didn't even. I didn't
I didn't see
I was
it.
about to say The Gray. That's old. Yeah, that's
I
not.
didn't even
yeah.
see that.
Yeah, it was pretty all right.
Because I immediately stopped watching. So I'll catch up.
Yeah, it was.
I
Pretty
think
all
I'll put it on my Twitter and Instagram that he's okay to watch now. And I think everybody will jump in.
I'm just saying there are actors who have done much
We'll make
worse.
him,
I mean,
we'll make him great again.
People are still gonna watch Brad Pitt movies in a year, right? Like it doesn't matter.
What did Brad Pitt do?
Beat his wife? There's an entire
Oh, well,
there's an entire
Well,
court
she
case about it
probably
right now.
needed
She
a
probably
beating.
deserved No, okay.
We're
hold on.
kidding.
I have, I have
Kidding.
nothing to say about that. That's not funny.
We're
At all.
it's a joke.
Do you remember when Chris Brown he's in the fire again for beating women, and then he went and just posted on his Instagram like pictures of other people who beat women. Like, see, they're not so bad. Nicolas
Yeah.
Cage arrested for domestic violence.
Yep. No,
Ozzy
exactly.
Osbourne.
And that's the thing, right? Like, listen, but I mean, they're gonna get away with it as long as you guys are still joking about it, so it's fine.
I'm not
No.
No. The situation is funny.
I mean, you are. Y'all are laughing. Y'all's asses off about a
it's
situation
so
where women are
sad.
getting beat.
That's why
So,
I'm
I
laughing.
mean,
It's not funny.
It's not funny.
Look, it's not funny. It's not funny.
remember, if you want mom to laugh, don't curse. Just talk about beating women, and it brings out the woman born in 1960s in her. She'll be like, "Yeah, that's what I remember. That's my favorite.
It's not.
I remember."
Oh,
She's like, "Ooh,
by
I
the
remember when
way-
you bitches was getting beat. Ooh, I missed that." That's what she was thinking. That's what she was thinking.
By the way, I played Elden Ring, as did Pico. How did you like it? I really enjoyed the DLC. So I beat Moog by myself. Yeah, I told you last time I was playing with Dan, and I went in. I found my shackle. I shackled the brother. No,
Okay,
I didn't
so
do
here's
it
the
by
thing,
myself.
Shavar.
I did it with the
Here's
homie. I
thing.
did it with Dan.
Here's the thing, Shavar. I think I texted you. I beat like a good 10% of this game in like a day or two.
Yeah,
I
you
killed
did.
both Moogs because why the fuck are there two Moogs? I still don't
Because-
understand why that one was
well-
underground. That was confusing.
Okay, so I'll explain that. Moog and Margaret.
Because I understand why there's two
twins.
Margits. I understand. Oh, okay.
Moog
But
and
then why are there
Margaret are
four of them?
twins. Moog and Margaret also have the ability to. They're very strong, which is why you can tell they're omens, but they were born from the gods, like the other gods you fight. They were put in the sewer and shackled because they were cursed babies. That's why they have the horns and stuff. And that's why the shackles work on them, because you bring up the trauma and PTSD when you slam them into the ground. But they're very powerful, and they can. Margit, you fight him twice. He leaves the first time. He pretends he's someone else. He's called himself Margot, right?
Which is
But it's-
stupid. Okay, but by the way, just sidebar. That is the dumbest. Okay, I get all the other naming conventions. This guy calling himself Margot instead of Margit when it's the same dude. When I figured that out, I was like, this is the dumbest man of all time. He's just stupid. Why would people not be able to put that together? He's not even changing his appearance.
It
It's the
is
same
pretty
guy.
stupid. But the reason he
It's the
changes
same
his
dude.
name is because he knows people know who Margit is, and they're not gonna allow him to rule, right? And God, what's the guy with the dragon arm you fight? Right, he's ruling at the moment. So he changed his name to Margit. So if he becomes king, he can hide his identity. That's why he has a cloak and all that stuff. It's a horrible disguise. Okay, then he goes back to the actual capital, and he's Margit. Moog,
Yeah.
Moog can project himself different places. Moog is trying to marry or use or rebirth Mikola.
Yeah, start playing Not Like Us real quick.
Well, Mikola is not a child. Mikola is forever young, but is not a child.
Okay,
So
okay,
Mikola
but
looks
I
like
know,
a
but-
child.
But if you read with his stuff, it literally says, I know, and here's the thing, I'm just joking. It says he's raising the boy so that he can be his consort when he grows up.
Yeah, he can be his
That sounds
consort
like a
when
pedo
he-
to
when
me.
he's-
That sounds like pedophilia. So,
because he wants to make
yeah.
the next, and so he projects himself in the prison. Because what's in the prison? After you fought him, did you hit the wall
fingers are in
that's
there.
behind? The,
Yeah,
right,
the fingers are in there.
The three
Flame,
fingers.
frenzy stuff. Yeah, the three
Right.
fingers are in there.
The three finger-
I can't
he's-
talk to them or else I'll lock myself out of all the other enemies.
Right. He's blocking you from going. He doesn't. No one wants the three fingers to take control. So that's what he's blocking down there. The three fingers.
And why is his name Margot?
No, this is Moog.
Moog. This is Moog.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There's Moog and Margit. They're Mom, by the way, the naming conventions come from George R.R. Martin, the same guy who made Game of Thrones. So that's
So
where all
you
the
can
naming
tell the
conventions come
lineage of
from.
all the
So
people by their names. Michaela.
There's M's,
Melania,
there's G's, there's M's.
Melena, Melania, Margaret,
Michaela.
Mikola.
You're saying
Godfrey.
Margot. It's Margot. Like Margot
No. It's
Kidder.
Margaret. It's Margaret.
Mom, how are you
And
gonna tell
Margaret.
us?
Margot Robbie.
It's Margot.
Margot.
It's Margot.
Maggot?
He's-
Margot.
He says his name.
Maggot?
It's Margot
Margot.
and Margit.
It's Margot.
Okay, so anyway, I killed all 4 of them, which it was confusing me why, because when I ran into Moog, I didn't expect him to be there, and I was like, oh,
Well,
is this
the
one I have
first
to
time you
kill?
kill
and then I
him-
realized it wasn't the one I was supposed to kill
Because
So-
he disappears. Yeah.
Well, I'm confused because apparently you can kill both anyway.
You kill both. Yeah.
So I got access to the DLC. I might start it soon. I'm kind of not going to yet. I'm going to get a little.
No,
further
I
in the
need your
game. I'm
help
gonna at least get the
finishing a
map
bunch of
unlocked.
stuff on the main land
Okay.
first.
So yeah, here's the thing though about Elden Ring and my thing about all Souls games, and I just want to say this because I've been thinking about this a lot this week. The games aren't hard, and people like to say that the games are hard. No, it just plays like an old game where you
They're
have
just
to know what you're
games.
doing. Yeah, you have to know what you're doing. You don't just run into everything mashing buttons and then expect it to work, right? So here's the thing. When I went to go kill these guys, it only took me like less than 5 tries for each because I was well equipped, and also I'm not an idiot. Like, for instance, I was fighting Moog with my magic stuff, and I realized it wasn't working.
Yeah, he's
So
resistant to magic.
I switched to a bunch of different weapons, and after I finally got back to my Blood Fang sword, it worked. And I was like, oh, that's funny. He's weak to blood. I didn't think he would be, but it's because I experimented and I tried other things out. Yeah, so I just want to say Souls games are not hard. They can be stupid sometimes, I agree. There's some stupid like gimmicks in there. But as far as like the boss fight stuff, it's not that hard. You just have to know how to dodge. You got to know if your weapon works the right way. You got to have the right armor equipped. So that's how I got through all those bosses. So now I'm going to the snowfields. I'm not quite there yet. But
Okay, let's go there together because I need you to help me finish some stuff in mine. I got to finish Ricard. I have to finish the Ainswell. I have to finish the mountains. I got to go to the mountains and finish. I don't know if you've done the mountains.
All right,
I got to
well,
go.
you're
That's where I'm
finishing.
going.
But
That's where
can
I
we
said
get
I'm going.
started on the news? I have a theater
Mom, we're
production to go to.
Mom, we're
Oh
leading
my
into
God,
it. You just
it's
interrupted
literally-
us.
You got 5 hours. Oh my
Like,
Lord.
Jesus Christ, Mom. We
Oh
were
my
literally about to get into it.
Fight!
Okay, so the reason
All right,
Shavar
hold
brought
on.
up
Stop.
Elden Ring.
Hold on.
The reason Shavar brought. Oh my God, dude, we're trying to do a show. What? What do
I was
you,
gonna
what did
let
you stop
Mom
me to
pick
say?
the first topic since she put most of these in here.
No, I just want you to get.
We were just talking about Elden Ring. Let's hurry up and talk about it, Shavar.
Yeah, talk about Elden Ring.
We
Go
already
ahead.
talked about
Yeah.
it.
All right, go ahead.
Jesus
Rewind.
Christ. So the reason Shavar brought up Elden Ring is because, and me and Shavar discussed this at length, so you guys will get spared with an overly done conversation. But Alana Pierce, who, if you know anything about video games, like big popular video games recently, she's written on a few different things. Most recently, God of War Ragnarok. But she's also a YouTuber who makes different videos about video games, and she talked about Elden Ring, how it's not really hard, but she kind of wishes that there were more accessibility options, specifically the option to pause the game, which for people who don't play Elden Ring, Dark Souls 1 through 3, Bloodborne, you
An
can't pause
argument
those
as
games.
old as time.
And you can't pause those games. People have been asking for pause buttons since the beginning of time. The reason you can't pause the game is not because of a difficulty thing. It's because the games are always online, so that you can always get invaded, or you can always see other people's messages, or that the world, like anything that's happening that affects everybody, you can.
The
see.
games
So,
are made to be always online. You can play offline.
Yes, the games are made to be always online. The only game that has a pause button is Sekiro, which is not made to be online. It's a totally single player game. So, she said this, and it got turned into a long conversation that was longer than her actual point about it. Where
Well,
people
the
are
main
saying,
thing she said, I think that it's one word she used that people
disability.
off.
So okay,
Right.
so the reason she wants a pause button is because she said she has a 2-year-old, and she said, listen, for situational disabilities like having children, you should be able to have a pause button.
Well, she doesn't have.
And
a
then
2-year-old.
before she doesn't have a 2-year-old, but it's the example she's using. So this set the internet ablaze because people did not like that she used the word disability, which is funny because, listener, the situational disability is a thing. I know that all of us may not know what it is, so we're going to explain it a little bit. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's a situational disability. It's not always permanent. It's not always going to happen. It goes away sometimes. It's not always happening, right? There's going to be something like a broken arm or like a dislocated joint or something like that. I dislocated
Being
my arm
married,
this week.
having children.
And,
Oh
yes,
my
being
God.
married, having children.
I've been in
I
a
dislocated my arm this
situation
week,
of
right?
disability for this long. I don't call that situation.
I was at a
so,
situational disability this morning. I could barely get out the bathroom.
Genuinely, you taking care of him is genuinely a situational disability. I'm not joking. It is, because you're not usually. This is not your usual life.
I need to file claims.
No, but that's the thing. Like, you can't file claims for the situational disabilities. So, because she used the word disability, situational disability, a lot of people were saying you're not disabled. You don't need this. Like, this is not something that we need because that makes the game easier, and the game doesn't need to be easy for you. Ignoring the fact that she already beat the DLC before a lot of people have already beat it, and she was just discussing her thoughts on it. So, yeah, my opinion personally, I think it's really stupid that people kind of just jumped up her ass for a specific term that they didn't know because they're ignorant, not because, she made it up. It's because they're ignorant. And I feel like the whole conversation was kind of derivative, because at the end of the day, yeah, it would be nice to have a pause button, but the game's not going to have a pause button because that's just not how these games function, right? Also,
for me, it's
like,
that
it's just not how the games are going to go.
For me, it's that, like, the argument that the game needs a pause button is more important to me than the pedantic fight about what the word disability means to who. I mean, I get people being like, because people typically don't use the word disability that way. But I think the more important part of the story is she's wrong. There should not be a pause button. In Elden Ring, there doesn't need to be one. If you need to leave because your kid's crying, or the neighbor's having a heart attack, or you got to go to work, that's a choice you have to make. That's part of the game.
Or you have to leave to pick up a prescription.
Right? Pick up a prescription. The house is on fire. The police are coming. You're getting what? That's your choice. You can choose.
I think you should be able to pause for that.
Yeah, here's the thing, Chevar. I feel like you edged all the way. You edged all the way into the ridiculous part. Here's the thing. Do I personally think that these games need a pause button? Absolutely not. Do I think that it would affect the integrity of the game or something if it had a pause button? Absolutely not. I don't care.
No, I don't think it would affect the integrity.
Here's my
thing.
I feel like what she said is fine. I don't think there's a problem with it. I feel like the reaction to it was really volatile. It didn't make any sense. Yeah. At the same time, I just like, that's my thing. Is like there's almost nothing to talk about. Like that's
well, here's the thing. Well, that's my thing too. The game, like those things I mentioned, I was hyperbolizing because just stop playing the game. It's a video game. You can always stop playing.
But you lose your place, right?
It doesn't. It's still okay, the game doesn't blow up. Okay, but here's the one thing. Hold on. Let me finish. You talk. Hold on. Okay. Her video is like 18 minutes long about that, and I don't think
it's not just about the pause button.
I know. But we've been talking about pause buttons since Dark Souls 2 at least. Like, Dark Souls 1. I'd
say Demon Souls even.
Okay, that was my first thing when I played Demon Souls. We don't need a pause button. Yes, it would be nice in certain circumstances or whatever, but we don't need a pause button. We don't need to keep talking about a pause button in this game.
Yeah, but everybody's not like you. When there's an emergency phone call,
What do you mean?
Look at the phone and you keep going because you got to finish the game.
Mom.
When your wife runs in the room and tells you, "Oh, it's on fire," you go, "I got to finish the game."
That's not what I do. No, that's why I gave those examples.
That's the exact opposite of what Chevar said.
That is so silly. It's a game. If the house is on fire, I'm putting it down. If my wife is calling me, I'll play for 5 more minutes and then I'll put it down. If my baby's screaming, I'll wait for my wife to come. It doesn't come, still screaming, I put it down.
5 more
you
minutes.
Can put the game down. I know it's like a consumer thing, and we want to be able to do, and you want to have access to do this, and people with all that stuff. But you put it down.
Okay, but here's my question.
What's your question?
Can't you pause any other game?
Most games.
Okay, so what's the difference? Why can't you pause this one?
Okay,
we already said that. It's always online.
I know it's usually online, right?
Okay, let's change this. Why don't we have the same conversations about Call of Duty, which is a game most
Chevar,
people play? Hold on, let me finish my statement. You can say it, but let me finish.
Stop.
No, why do I have to stop? No, I'm not going to stop.
Same thing I said to you before we
Call
started
of Duty.
That's why. Okay, go ahead.
Call of Duty online game, which people mostly play online. When people buy that game, they play the story or whatever, but it's mostly played online. You cannot pause those online, but we don't have that conversation. You can have the same situations. Your baby's crying. We don't have the conversation. I think it's just silly that we focus on this one game
Okay,
to talk about the
then
pause
if
button.
that's the case, I agree. Any online game can't pause, get out. Bye.
Pico?
Here, okay, so my thing about this is, Chevar, I feel like that's like a dishonest, because I agree, but also it's not the same thing. Call of Duty, you're literally interacting with other players the entire time, right? Dark Souls in Elden Ring as an extension, it's mostly a solo journey. Most of the ways you interact with people are reading their messages. Sometimes you get invaded. Sometimes, if you want to, you can go into your friend's game. But we're talking about the core game itself. You are not consistently interacting with other people. The game even has something built in where if you're not connected online and you need to be invaded for something, they send an NPC to invade you. So I don't agree. But here's the thing, right?
Does it matter
I think makes
the
your,
reason?
Stop. Oh my God. Here's the thing that I think makes your argument crumble, though. Those people who have this problem, yeah, they're not playing Call of Duty, bro. That's not what they're playing. They're trying to play something like Elden Ring because it gives them more time to pause and like go sit their character somewhere and go check on the baby if they need to or see what their kids are doing. That's the whole point, is that this is a game that requires less interaction with other people than Call of Duty does. Call of Duty, you drop into a game, you're in a game with like 90 other people or whatever the fuck. This is not like that. It is a floating online presence that you sometimes interact with if you want to. And at the end of the day, Chevar, if you go into the options menu, you can turn it off. So here's the thing. If you can turn off the online capabilities, why doesn't that also just come with the pause button? That's my thing. If you already turned off the online part, why can't you already pause the game? So I don't think that that's an honest argument, because Call of Duty is a completely different type of game. And if you're a parent trying to play that while your 2-year-old's running around, you don't exist, because most parents like that have accepted the fact that they can't do that until it's like midnight and the kids.
This man has never actually played a 2K game, because that is literally what's happening in the background of every.
Okay, are we talking
match.
about 2K or are we talking about?
No, but you're saying
Call of Duty.
You're saying
switching the games.
No, I'm not switching the games. I'm saying you're saying people who have these situational disabilities don't play those games because they absolutely do play those games. I hear kids in the background. I hear wives yelling. I hear boyfriends yelling all the time in the background. See how I wasn't sexist there? But listen, okay? I get what you're saying. Okay, you're making the argument, but this particular game can be a single player game. However, part of Souls games is the menu play and playing around in the menu while you're playing around in the game.
Okay.
Like while you're moving around and doing stuff.
So is Sekiro not a Souls game then? Like, that's my thing, is that game is it's exactly like these other games.
But okay, Sekiro, okay, no, hold on. In Dark Souls, specifically as opposed to Sekiro, in Sekiro, you don't do things where you're in the middle of combat and you switch weapons through the menu and switch things through the menu to you don't do that the same way. In
fair.
Dark Souls, you do. You can literally open the menus, flip out that thing, get this new weapon, put a new helmet. You can. That's if you watch any of the people speed running or doing boss things, they're doing all. That's part of the game, which is also why you probably don't want that pause function there. Anyway, we talked too long about a pause button.
Yep. Time to move on.
Yeah.
Does everyone agree? Okay.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Okay. Whatever. Jesus Christ.
No, go ahead. I
don't know. I just think it's. Listen.
I'm not saying it's an invalid argument.
Maybe like I said.
Yeah,
I understand. Parents play stuff, but here's the thing: just be responsible with what you play when you know you have other responsibilities. And also, Souls. From Software. If somebody switched the game to offline mode, maybe just let them pause. I don't see how it would affect the game.
Round 2. Fight.
Okay, now we're done with the Elden Ring.
All right. Well, this week, Xbox had an outage. So, Tuesday, those who love and play live Xbox games couldn't. And I looked to see what the source of it was, because for a long time they didn't know what was going on. There was a DDoS attack.
You got to talk into the mic, Mom.
We're finally able to connect, but it's back up, running again. But that's not a good thing.
How long was it down?
I think a day.
Yeah, and they
So,
needed to do some maintenance and get it back.
I want to slip. I want to slip this in here. PlayStation Stars has been down for longer than that one PSN outage in the early 2010s. I just wanted to put that out there. But no, this Xbox thing is bad only because, as we can see in this article, people weren't able to play games that they own the physical versions of, which is
that sucks.
Not good. That's terrible. I've never had that problem. So if I did have that problem, I'd be pissed. And this is a perfect example of that. So there's a whole other different thing with having digital only versions of games, right? Like if you purchase that, you kind of know what you're signing up for if it's not downloaded. You might not ever be able to play it again, right? If you can't download it.
I don't get the online. I just don't understand the online restriction to own it. Like, I get it. They don't want people stealing games. They want to check the game and make sure. But really, like, there's got to be a better way to read a signature on a game outside of it being online, you know, to check with the server and like, can't you just, whatever it's doing, checking with the servers, can't it just do the same thing on the machine so that, and then when the machine does go online, it updates, or I don't know, like, there's got to be something where you don't need this constantly online thing, because it's not just annoying, it's also like, okay, if I move somewhere with bad internet, can't use it, or if this service dies, I can't use it. And it's like you pay hundreds of dollars for these machines and the games and all that. It's
thousands for the games.
Yeah, it's crazy. You can't play your game because Xbox is asleep.
I mean, listen, for people who don't know, before the Xbox One came out, that console was going to be basically this all of the time. You wouldn't even be able to give other people discs. You would only be able to play your game on your Xbox, and somebody else took the disc from you. They had to pay a fee in order to be able to play it. It comes down to just corporate greed. They want, I don't know. It's this thing where they want to keep you connected, and in that respect, it gives them what they need from you, right? Which I don't understand it. I think at this point, especially with a lot of the physical games being treated this way, it's gotten too far. Now we don't really own anything. And if I'm not mistaken, this is an Xbox specific problem that you literally can't play a game because of DRM on Xbox. As far as I remember, PlayStation doesn't have this problem, right?
Well, it's not PlayStation does have a thing. If you have the physical, you don't have it. When you have the physical disc, you have the license on the disc. But if you have just digital games and you disconnect from PlayStation Network, I think the license has to be like reread every 24 hours or something. Yeah. So you have to connect online, but that's still bad. I don't get why. Yeah, I mean, if people are gonna steal games and all that stuff,
they're gonna do it anyway.
They're gonna do it anyway. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you're gonna try copying and stealing a game, you're gonna do it anyway, and you're probably gonna go do it on PC. I just don't see the. Well, I say that, but then we had like 3 PlayStation 2s with like, or 3 PlayStation 1s with like 800 games that some guy burned on the disc. So.
Well, and that's
some guy
thing,
who's
right?
named
This is all supposed
after
to be,
grandma's dog was burned.
Okay.
Well, that's my thing. Is this is all like a quote unquote response into pirating and stuff, right? But here's the thing: if you want to do that, then make the shit available. Like, you can't do that and then, say, oh, it's anti-piracy, but then also if you don't connect, you never get to play it again. You're not defeating piracy then. You're giving people more reasons to pirate at that point, because it's like, oh, well, then I don't actually own it unless I go steal it.
Yeah,
so,
they got to change how that's done. Like,
yeah, it doesn't. It's stupid. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, at its peak, more than 38,000 users were affected. What you're saying leads into another story, if everybody's finished with this one.
Yeah, okay.
And 3 times 1. What is it? 3! Yeah, that's a magic number.
All right. So it looks like Nintendo has a plan to prevent scalping.
These dumbasses.
They're gonna just make a whole load of Switch 2s. What do you think about
Right,
that
so-
one?
The headline, Nintendo says it has a plan to prevent scalping, just make loads of Switch 2s. So they're literally saying the way that they're going to meet the demand, which, by the way, I'm just going to say this ahead of time. Whenever this next console comes out, it's probably not going to be called Switch 2. It's going to be called something else. Whenever this next console comes out, it will be the best selling console of all time. I have no doubt about it because it's Nintendo, right? They do it every time, except with the Wii U. But I take this as Nintendo saying we will actually make the right amount of consoles that we're supposed to make this time. Because
Well, they're not going to be using
as-
scraps from old Sony phones this time.
yes, exactly. As Chevar knows, Nintendo is notorious for creating scarcity with their products. It is not real. It's not actually that the Wii was selling so much that they couldn't get them or whatever. Me and Chevar had trouble getting the Wii back in the day. Our parents saved us a lot of stress, but we had trouble getting that. But like, it's because Nintendo doesn't send out enough on purpose. It's like manufactured scarcity. So I take this as them saying we're not going to do that this time. We're actually going to make the amount of consoles that we need to make, and they should, because let's be real, like this has happened with every console they've released recently, even the 3DS. At one point people are like, I can't get one, it's impossible to find one. The Switch had this problem for the first 3 years it was out. There were people who were like, I can't get one, which is funny because people made fun of PlayStation and Xbox for this when they came out, saying, oh, it's so hard to get a PlayStation. It was the same thing, except for PlayStation, it was actually organic. It actually was hard to get one because they were selling so well.
And all that does is benefit the scalper, the person who is able to get a couple of extra ones, and then they make a lot more money on it.
How does it stop scalpers? They'll just buy more. What does that mean? This is going to stop scalpers?
A scalper's market is dictated by the exclusivity of the thing.
Right,
so
exactly.
If
They're the ones
like,
who win.
I collect a lot of toys. If there's a toy that comes out and there aren't, like for example, Miss Marvel Warbird is coming to Target. It was up for pre-order. It all sold out in, I think, 30 seconds. All tens of thousands of prints of that sold out. And they're on eBay for it's a $25 figure. It's on eBay for $85 because it's a well-wanted figure, right? And it's only at Target. So the exclusivity, there's so few of them, they're selling them for a whole lot. If there were abundance of them, like other figures that aren't exclusive, it wouldn't do that. Scalpers need the exclusivity. But I don't think this is about scalping. I think this is a cover.
No.
Because why would you ever come out and talk about scalping as a company? This is because this is like businesses predicting future global problems. This is about Taiwan and China and possible World War III and just not being able to get chips. Because right now, the American plants are still being made. Taiwan is still the place to go for these chips. Japan doesn't make enough chips. Nowhere else in the world makes like Taiwan stuff. Get it. They're just going to print it now. Get it now. Get as many as they can now so that there is a supply of Switches when the possible, China takeover of that place happens and it's not available.
So yeah, that's my thing, right? I feel like I said, this is just Nintendo saying we're gonna actually try to prepare this time, because they didn't before. They did not prepare before. So, because I'm gonna probably try to get one of these whenever.
Hold on. You had no reaction to what my conspiracy theory
about China? No, I have nothing to say about.
It's not about China. It's about Nintendo.
That China's going to take over?
No, that Nintendo is predicting that there will be conflict and fewer chips. So you make it now and get all the chips.
Yeah. I don't think that's like a conspiracy or anything like that. I mean, I think that makes sense. I think that's just like a sound theory, because I mean,
yeah, I don't think, but that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's about scalping at all.
Yeah, that's the thing is that you're basing, it's not you're basing that off of nothing, right? They said last time the problem was with producing more Switches, they couldn't find the chips that they needed. So I completely see that being what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Dr. Disrespect lost all his YouTube money on sexting that minor. Yeah.
Shout out to him. Yeah, he's been dropped from like everything. He has like no revenue streams anymore besides Kick. So kind of wild.
Yeah, he should. Well, I'm not gonna make that joke.
Well, you already made a woman beating joke. You can go ahead and make whatever
No,
joke you're gonna
not
make.
child. No.
No.
Oh, okay. Mom said, "Yeah, beat the women, but the children stay away." Yeah, yeah.
Yes, stay away. Women are
Stay away
grown-ups.
from the children.
Oh man, y'all are so weird. Yeah, the way y'all just turned into the pearls just appeared and you started clutching them.
I'm gonna come out and say I actually have no problem with beating children. Actually, I've seen it. I've seen it in my own life. I'm not against that, but the sexting part, I am opposed
in my
to.
own life.
I've been on the receiving end of it. It built. You ever watch
It
like?
builds
I mean, I never
character.
talked about beating children, so I don't
You know-
know why you brought that
You
up.
ever watch anime or something, and something traumatic happens to a character, and they like build that rage in their eyes and power up like Goku or something, kind of Super Saiyan. That's what happens when you're holding on to something and somebody's taking a switch, and you're just like, oh my god! I never been so angry in my life. That's like raw. But if you didn't have that happen to you,
Bro, what are we
you just
talking
think
about
this, You
anymore?
just think this is a cartoon. This is like this Super Saiyan stuff is silly. This power up stuff. No, that's real. That's real. You feel it in you. You think you ever get so angry your eyes turn green? That's why the Hulk is green. That's why Goku's eyes are green. Super Saiyan. I'm telling you.
Can we go to the next topic?
It's always-
I honestly have I'm not joking.
Where's
I have
that
no idea
damn
what you're talking
fourth
about.
Chaos Emerald?
I have no clue what the hell that was all about. Anyway, Pokemon Go is refusing to let longtime players come to its birthday party. By the way, last few headlines have been from Kotaku. I don't want to put that out there. Just sourcing. Except for the first one. The first one was what was that website? Comic book angry man, bounding in the comics, right?
Bounding in the comics.
So Pokemon Go is refusing to let longtime players come to its birthday party. What is this, Shavar? What's going on here?
Hey, ask Mom. She added it.
Well, I
Yeah,
thought
Mom,
you
what's going
guys
on?
would be into this one. I didn't understand why the longtime players couldn't come to the birthday party, since they owned these games for like ever, and now it's the game's 8th birthday. But if you have long-term players completing one specific quest back in 2020, they can't come to the party. I didn't understand why.
To me, when I read this, it seemed like it's likely a glitch. Coming to the party, you get a chance to get this special mythical Pokemon, but I think like you can only have one of the type, and this is maybe to get a special of the type. I don't know, but apparently, if you went to an old event that happened during COVID, you can't get tickets to this new event, and it's grayed out. It says you already have a ticket. I think it's just a glitch in the system, but they won't say what it is. They won't say like
it doesn't seem to be a glitch because they blogged about it. Like it's in the blog. It's not just something that is only in the app. There's a blog in the blog post. They literally say if you participate in this, you can't do it.
Right.
So
It was
I
called
think that
distracted
it's just,
by something shiny.
yeah, distracted by
Special
shiny.
research.
Yeah, distracted by something shiny. Special research. Yeah. So if you completed that one, you can't go. And I don't think it's a glitch, Shavar, because they've acknowledged it. Like it's not like people just notice and they haven't said anything. They acknowledged it. I
that's
assume what's
crazy.
going on is they're probably going to give away the same thing that they gave away during that event, and that's why they don't want people to come. Do I think that makes sense? Absolutely not. I don't think that makes sense. I think they should still allow them to participate.
yeah, right.
But,
Yeah, they should be able to get the unique extra special creature.
By the way,
Well,
there
yeah,
are I don't know why this popped in my head right now. It has absolutely almost nothing to do with this topic.
Oh,
You can play games on Netflix on your TV now, like for real. Just
You
Yes, I
can.
know. You can play Grand Theft Auto. You can play Hades. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you,
Then
Shavar.
go to the next topic if you don't like this one.
No,
I mean,
it's
we didn't say
fine.
we didn't
That
like
was
it.
it. Dude, I liked
I'm
it.
confused why he just brought that up all of a sudden. We were
No, it
literally in the
just-
middle of
it-
talking about something.
I don't know. Something just told me I should let the world know.
The world knows already, Shavar. They have Netflix subscriptions, and Netflix told them.
Make that another news topic.
I didn't know. I did know. I think.
dumb. me. So yeah, I think listen, I think
You cutting out,
You're
buddy.
cutting out.
also it doesn't. Cause
We can't hear
okay,
you.
I'm back.
There you
Okay,
are.
anyway, I'm talking. I don't know what to do.
You're
What?
good.
Am I back?
You're back.
Yeah, you're back.
Okay. Well, my thing is that they're gonna probably roll this back because people are gonna complain enough. But also, it doesn't make any sense for them to not roll it back because people have to pay $5 to do this. So why are they fucking themselves out of money? I don't get that. That's where I'm kind of confused.
Yeah, I don't get it either. It just doesn't make sense. Like, you could literally, these are people who came to your last event. You'd assume like half of them at least will come to the next event, right? Like, because it's not like this game is big like it used to be. It's still big. I still see people play, but I don't know. I don't know. They're
Yeah, you think you want to keep your player base?
Yeah, it's weird. Okay.
Ho, ho, ho! I've got 5 good reasons for you to shut up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5!
So,
This is my last one.
oh, you got, okay, go ahead. What is it?
Well, I gotta get them in while I can. So it seems that Elon Musk's mom can't stop the Mark Zuckerberg cage fight. There's a new game where they're facing off and they'll fight each other doing a UFC event. And for some reason, Mark's mother, is it Mark's mother? Yeah. Elon's mother doesn't want that fight to go on. As
Can
a
you
mother, I understand not wanting the fight to go on. It started like when Elon Musk challenged Mark Zuckerberg to what's that called? A cage match?
Yeah. He told him let's fight. Yeah.
Yeah. So he responded, "It's on and popping."
I wish that would have happened because Zuck would have ruined that Elon, right? Zuck's in the gym, baby.
Well, yeah, because
He's got
Zuck's
alien powers.
He's got that
So,
lizard
Mom,
tail nobody can see.
Mom, I do want to point out this story is 1 year old.
Hey, Pico, let her.
Did they fight?
No.
Who won?
Well, she's talking about the game.
Yeah, it's a year. This article is a year old.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make it sound better. Okay, just let her have
Okay.
it.
Well,
Let her have
never
it.
mind.
I think the game looks fun.
Well, the game is
Yeah,
out.
it's a free browser game where Zuckerberg and Elon Musk are fighting each other.
Okay, that's it for me. My topics are done.
All right. Well, the way you talked about that was in more detail than how Capcom announced Resident Evil 9. Apparently, during their Capcom little show. What's it called? Summer Now, Future Summer, Coming Summer.
Capcom
What's
Next.
that?
So Capcom Next
Next
happened this
summer.
past week. Almost nothing really got announced in it besides this. They showed us a lot more of the Dead Rising remaster, which is kind of a remake, but it's a remake in the vein of like Resident Evil 4, right? Where it's more, but it's polishing up the graphics, all that stuff. It looks good. They even showed side by side shots. If you pre-order it, you get the original Frank West model. So all the people bitching about that, you can go get that.
Yeah,
but,
I'm pre-ordering for sure, dog.
So for the rest of people who stuck around for the game, right? The director of Resident Evil, Koshi Nakanishi, last one he worked on was 7. He said that we're working to make a new Resident Evil number 9. I am confused why people thought this was like worth writing an article about, because I thought it was implied that yes, we are making another Resident Evil, especially because the last DLC was a cliffhanger about the next Resident Evil. So I don't know why.
But here's the thing. I think it's a little weird. I don't think it's like super newsworthy, but it's a little weird because when it comes to like franchises like Resident Evil, usually nothing is said about the next one until they're ready to show like Resident Evil 9 trailer, done. But they're like, yeah, we're making it, which is not something that usually you see. You usually don't just see like an offhand mention of, yeah, we're making that next game. I mean, think about it. After Dark Souls 3, There's rumors breaking out about this new game and George R.R. Martin, blah, 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 and then you get a trailer, but you don't get anything in between that of, yeah, we're making Elden Ring. Like that doesn't happen. Usually there's an announcement that's like, here's
I
this,
just still
here's
see
a
why
picture.
that's newsworthy.
Well, I
It's
think
weird.
that's why they did it, is because it seemed that the announcement they were making was pretty flat. You know, they were telling them we're going to release this and that and Dead Rising remaster and Resident Evil remastering and it
On the
didn't seem
mobile.
to-
Oh, you can play Resident Evil on the phone now, Mom. No.
Oh, great. I
Yeah,
know.
you're not gonna. It's
So-
too scary.
Yeah. So after all that, and it didn't seem to spark any excitement, they just kind of tossed in, oh, yeah. Yeah.
Mom, but that's not how. No, this is pre-recorded.
I know, but they knew
So
it
they
was
didn't.
boring when
They
they were
didn't sit there in the
recording it.
editing room like,
No, but they
Think
could
this-
tell when they were saying it. It sounded boring to begin with, what they were saying.
But it's not like they were like, okay.
So Chevar, I think the reason that this is happening is because it's pretty far off. I think that they want to keep people on their seats.
Right.
So
because
they,
whatever
like,
else
I
they
think
said
the game
didn't.
is the game is, and that's the thing. If you listen to the rest of the quote, there's almost nothing. Like the game's not even really started yet. Like that's kind of what he was saying. Is like,
I don't
yeah,
believe
we're
that,
making a
but-
new Resident Evil. We're working on some. Like it's very
They just
like
threw it out
it's
there.
earlier than early. Yeah. So yeah, all he said was it was really difficult to figure out what to do after 7, which is funny because there was an entire other game after 7. He
Well,
said, but I
th-
found it.
they
And to
say-
be honest, it feels substantial.
They say that because I don't know if the way Japanese studios work, especially with like these particular studios like Resident Evil, Silent Hill, at least how they used to work, they're making them almost at the same time. So like when Silent Hill 1 came out, they were already making 2 and 3. And then when 2 came out, they made 3 and 4 at the same time. And Resident Evil is very similar. Like I don't know if they still have the same type of schedule, but the way they talk about it, I'm sure 7 and Village 8 came out. They were making those at the same time. Like they make 7,
Yeah, but
7's almost
But
done.
also the last
Start
one
8.
he worked on was 7. So I think that
Yeah,
that's
because
what
8 was
perspective he's
being
telling
worked
me.
on at the same time someone else.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying.
So
like,
which is funny because 8's a sequel to 7, but it was just so weird. But
Well, it's already written, you know? And they're condensing everything because they fired half the staff at all the gaming places, so...
well, it's Capcom. You can't fire people. You just send them to the Philippines or Thailand or something.
yeah, so yeah, new Resident Evil coming. I was mind boggled when people were like, "New Resident Evil." Like, yeah, water's wet. It's gonna rain at some point. Like, yeah, I
True,
guess
that's
like,
true.
Duh. Like,
That's true,
I was so
that's true.
confused why people were like, "We're gonna get a Resident Evil." Not like there were Resident Evil YouTubers who were like losing their shit, and I'm like, well, duh.
Well, that's
like, the
because
story's not
that's
over.
all the bait, baby. That's all the bait. They got to put some fresh something out there to get attention. That's all it is.
Sometimes I
That's
feel like
nothing.
sometimes I feel like I'm crazy with these announcements. Like I feel like sometimes they'll announce something and like people will be like, "Oh my god," and I'm like, "What? You guys are surprised they're making another Assassin's Creed?" Like
I
what do
saw
you-
a guy put out a 20-minute
Duh.
video over the 10-second Takashi clip from Mortal Kombat. Like, okay, great. 15 minutes. 15-minute video. It's just, you know, trying to get money and baiting. Also, we got to talk about our job, our business idea, or my business idea. Okay.
Okay,
right, well-
I can't wait. Water's wet. Barrel's on the way. Has it gotten there yet, Bigo?
barrel.
The hurricane?
Oh, Hurricane Barrel. Yeah, no, we got water and stuff. We're waiting.
The hurricane's name is Barrel?
Barrel.
Yeah, anybody out there, don't live in Houston. You're just gonna hit by hurricanes all summer. Like, just don't do it. Just
I
don't. If
know.
you're thinking about
I
it,
worry about
don't
you
do
out
it.
there.
Well, because it's
Sometimes-
just been raining all the time. Now this hurricane's coming. We have to go buy 10 things of water. And as I'm getting the jugs of water out of the trunk with my dislocated arm and stuff, I'm just like, wow, this sucks. Like, I wish I didn't have to do
Dislocated. We
this.
have
So-
to talk. You didn't mention.
Yeah, you weren't listening earlier. I mentioned that already. I've dislocated
Probably.
this arm twice within the last year. But
Well,
yeah.
why do we
I
still
don't
live
know.
in Texas?
Why?
We get hurricanes
I'm
and
moving-
tornadoes.
I'm
We
moving
get
soon.
flood.
I'm trying to get out of here.
It's
next
so
year.
hot.
I'm
When it gets cold, they turn off the heat.
I'll come
we
back.
doing?
I'm getting out of here next year, dude.
I think it's
can't
time
stand
to
it
move to
anymore.
Canada.
No.
moving-
Hold
I'm
on.
moving up.
Canada.
I'm moving-
All they do
I'm
in
moving
Canada is
DMV
talk about
area.
America. You don't want to go there. We gotta go
I'm going to
somewhere.
DMV area. I'm not doing this.
No, you gotta go somewhere tax free, dog. It's expensive.
Where's tax free then?
All the best places: Texas, Florida.
Like, yes, exactly. Thank you. I'm not moving to no damn Florida.
I'm not.
If
Look, hey,
no.
hey, listen.
Florida's just nastier Texas as far as the weather. That's
It's
it. It's just wet
swamp.
Texas.
Swamp
It's
Texas
land.
pretty.
same
Texas pretty
swamp
classy
Texas.
when you think about like the
It is
the opposition.
not.
When you think about
if you no, if you ask me if I would rather live in Texas or Florida, I'm mashing the Texas button. I'm not living in
Listen.
Florida.
listen, you got to go somewhere tax free. I am not. Look. All right. You're not catch me voting for a Republican.
All right, so
I'll tell you
Shavar
that, but
saying
I
we
ain't,
have to
I ain't
live-
like no paying no taxes, man. For
Shavar said-
"Come on, man.
Shavar said he's going to live in either Alaska, New
That's
Hampshire,
a good place."
Delaware,
Ooh,
Oregon.
Delaware.
Okay, Oregon might be fun. Oregon might be good. Montana, Vermont, or Rhode Island. Now, out of all of those, I will say I think Oregon doesn't sound bad. Like Oregon's pretty cool, but the other ones I'm not too sure. About. But also, Oregon is still really expensive. Like even with all the tax-free stuff, it's very
All of those
expensive. to live
places
there.
are
Delaware.
expensive.
Here's the thing. Look, I think Delaware is pretty okay, right?
Bro, they
That's
got
where
less than
everyone-
1 million people in their whole state, bro.
Yeah,
You'll
that's
be
what
the
I'm
only
saying.
black person there. You're gonna be the
Yeah.
funny attraction.
Yeah,
They
he
gonna
like
put you-
that. Yeah.
Do you know
They're
how?
gonna put you in
do
the
you know?
circus, bro.
Do you know how
Do you know
cool?
what they would do to Kalonica?
Do you know
They
how
just call Kalonica
cool
Mexican.
I would
They won't
be?
even know what to do.
Okay, people do that here. Okay, Kawhi, if Kawhi
How
goes
cool you
somewhere,
would be?
people speak to her. Yeah, if you're the only black person in a place, the reason people hate you so much is because they're jealous. They're like, he's so cool. I can't believe it. All he had to do was stay
Yeah.
wherever he was. Now he come up here and all
I
like,
would just
cool.
rather not be in that
I
situation.
don't know. New
So,
Hampshire
I'm good.
is the live free or die state. So I don't know. It's kind of cool.
New Hampshire sounds
I don't
okay.
It is. It's beautiful
I'm
in
looking.
the fall.
Listen,
the rest of the
I'm
year is
visiting
free,
Maryland
frozen.
later. I'll let y'all know how it is.
Let's see. You know what though? I like Texas. You know why? Because it's what you see is what you get. You don't pay state taxes, you get nothing from the state. Makes sense to me. Makes absolute sense to me.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
You want to
Our
get
kids,
into
our kids are dumb. Our kids are dumb as rocks because they keep taking stuff out of those history books because it. And I'm not making this up. I told Sarah I go to school board meetings. We're taking stuff out of history books because it makes white people feel bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, this
True.
is a great place to live. It's really good. Really good place to live.
I mean, look, you drive around, you see bumper sticker that says it'll say a box, gun owner, check, box, victim, blank. You know who you're dealing with, okay?
Yep.
That gun is like a beer cooler. All right?
Well, it has a
Or
little
what's
bit
my-
of everything.
Should be
It has-
fully loaded.
One of my favorite ones is a bumper sticker that's a picture of a baby and it says thank you, you weren't say thanks, you weren't aborted.
Oh.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Hey, but here's the thing, all right? Like I said, what you see, what you get, okay?
Hey, and
that's
no joke, Chevar, that's my favorite part about Texas. There's no hidden agenda. Everybody
Nope.
tells you exactly who they are when you
Yep.
first meet them. You know exactly who
And
they
they
are.
don't
It's not
care what you think.
not a
Yeah.
mystery.
Yep. I was in so Fiesta is a grocery store. And I was in there grocery shopping and some Hispanic guy comes up to me and says, "You see all that rice over there?" I'm like, "Yeah." That's for them Guatemalans. They love rice. Guatemalans and Cubans, they love rice. Cubans ain't coming here, so it's for the Guatemalans. Guatemalans eat rice everything. Rice cereal, rice breakfast, rice,
Hey, yo, don't we
rice
got
orange
Mexicans
juice.
down here?
He's Mexican, okay? And I'm like, yeah, I guess Guatemalans like that. He's like, yeah, man, I'm just trying to make some chicken noodle soup right now. Are you Guatemalan? You look Guatemalan. I'm like, nope, I'm not from Guatemala. He's like, yeah, I don't know. Like, you're not too dark. You're not too light. You're just right. Like Guatemalan.
Listen, and my favorite part about being down here is still you can still like get a glimpse into the 60s and 70s because when I'm with my wife in certain neighborhoods, people look at us like I'm attacking her. They don't. They're assuming something. We go to the coffee shop and there's the same old white man that sits in the corner. Every time I walk in, he just stares at me, and so I have to stare at him back, or else he won't stop. So sometimes I'm trying to order my coffee, and they're talking to me, and they're like, "Hey, Chevall, I'm just staring at this white man." He already stopped staring at that point. He's looking uncomfortable because he's got mad that I noticed he was looking at him. But yeah, that's another funny thing about Texas.
He just thinks you're holding her hostage.
Yeah. He's like, okay, is she, like, listen, my wife has stories about her being out at bars with some of her friends who are black, and then white guys will come up to her and go, "Are you okay? Is everything all right?
You doing all right?
Are you all right? Are they keeping you here?"
Well, they do that. They do that to a lot of good too, but probably for different reasons. But
yeah. Slightly different reasons. Anyway, we got a couple more things to talk about.
Do we?
So.
I don't think so.
I think
that's it.
No, wait.
I have a bumper sticker that I like, but
that's fine.
naughty.
I'm done. One of these we talked about last week. The
I'll
other
just
one's
shut
another.
up. Nobody hears me anyway.
No, go ahead. Oh my gosh, she threw everything to the ground. She threw everything across the room. Did you hear that, Biko?
What's wrong with her, bro?
Oh
yeah,
my, she's so angry right now.
What's the bumper sticker, Mom? Thank you for bringing that Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk article that kind of killed me. Had me, Mom. You. I had a stroke. I had a stroke for a minute because I was like, "Wait, wasn't this last year?" In my head,
and
I
was
like,
"No, regurgitating that." Yeah,
what's the bumper sticker, Mom?
That. I don't want to talk about it.
Tell me the bumper sticker.
No.
Come on.
What's the bumper sticker?
It says, "I don't need Google. My wife knows everything."
That's a T-shirt.
It's a sticker.
That is a bumper sticker.
Do you think it's a bumper sticker? I think that's a T-shirt.
It's both, Chevar. It's both.
I'm gonna make it one for you so you can get in trouble.
No.
I am just, I'm just glad to live in the Lone Star State for as long as I will.
I was saying there are hills, there are valleys, there's a beach, there's a North Texas, there's
mountains.
Oil wells, there's mountains, there's everything in Texas. Why do you need to go anywhere else?
I mean, true, but
maybe your kid doesn't get shot,
or maybe you'd like a season other than summer. Yeah, that might be a reason.
Yeah, I think there's several reasons to move out of Texas. You don't like sweating from every orifice that exists. You don't want your kid to get shot, or at the same time, you don't want your kid to become a Republican because that's all they teach in school now is, don't make white people feel bad. You also want your kid to get a decent education. Like I feel like that's that's the reason I've seen people move out of Texas recently. Is
if all of the kids maybe is a reason to move out.
The kids are.
Yeah.
But did you realize that Texas is becoming the new New York? Texas is going to have a stock market soon based in Dallas.
Oh yeah. No, that's what we've been trying to do.
So things are changing, and I have a feeling that no tax deal is going to go away.
No.
Well,
no. If that happens, I'm out.
No.
If that happens, okay. Here's the thing. As much as I talk about Texas, I've been to like 22 states or something. Literally my favorite one. If we got to pay taxes here, I'm out. I'm going back to Japan. I can't do it. Look.
Where the minions are.
It's got. I'd rather be around all the minions walking around with no deodorant than be in a place where I got to pay all these state taxes when I ain't getting nothing.
So here's the thing, Chevar. When state taxes are like let's say, because I'm considering moving somewhere that has state taxes, right? Here's the thing: if everything else is affordable, does that really matter as much?
Texas is one of the most affordable places in the country.
No longer.
No, it still is. Per populace, it's one of the most affordable places in the country.
It's not. It's sure. But it's getting worse every year. You see that, right?
It's getting worse every year
from everywhere.
Yeah, I get that, but they're gonna leave. Cause guess what? We're gonna shoot them. I know people.
Shavar,
people are like, everyone's moving to Texas.
They want to be one of us. They come here.
They're moving to Texas,
before they
and people
Texans.
are. I know, but Texans aren't gonna as soon as the state turns like a little more purple, it's gonna be violence. Okay, and I know what side I'm on. I'm on the inside. I ain't going outside nowhere because it's gonna be rough out there. they're not going to stand up. I mean, Texas is not like old people Republican. Texas is like rough and tug, young truckers down the road Republicans. We're not standing for it here, okay? It's not happening, all right? The price is going to go down. And
listen,
they're moving. You know where they're moving? They're moving out to nowhere's land.
Before that happens. Weed will be legal before they get rid of the taxes.
But they're not
moving
moving
to
to nowhere's land.
Yes, they
kind
are.
of legal.
Dude, the Japanese population has increased here by like 300%, right? They all, from where we are, the middle of downtown.
There is only one.
They all live at least 45 minutes away. They drive into work or whatever, and they build the NTT out there. It's fine. It's so big out here. We're fine. We're fine. Hey, I think that's been a nice episode. What do you guys think?
I think it's fabulous.
I think it's been good. We got
Okay.
we got all the topics out of the way.
Didn't have to talk about pedophiles that much.
No pedophiles. Speaking of children, I have a theater production to go to, Mr. Noble.
Mom, that was a terrible segue. Do not bring him into this.
Let Mom cook.
It was children. So I have a fantastic rendition of Aladdin to go to. And Mr. Noble is one of the starring roles. And I can't wait to see him in his Sultan outfit. And we're going to have the second production. Well, what do you call it? Performance today. So they had their big run through, their opening night last night, and then they have their matinee today. So good luck. And by this time, we'll be recorded and all that. Great show.
All right. Good job, Noble. All right. So today we did a lot. We solved disabilities. We redeemed Liam Neeson.
And Mom posted most of that.
And Mom did most of the show.
Yeah,
today.
Mom got us together for the topics. Hey, give her like a round of applause for real,
Right.
because she really did like take care of us with that. So thank you, Mom. We appreciate it. Wait, not a bigger clap than that. Yeah.
Well, I have to say the first clap was her own. She initiated that one.
No, I did that.
Oh, you did that. Okay.
Thank you. All right.
Oh, also, I started listening to this podcast. Worst podcast I've ever heard. It's so unfunny most of the time. Kill Tony. It's like it like has so much. But maybe I'm just in the wrong episodes. These people go. It's like a show in Austin. It's like the #1 live podcast or whatever. Comedians, amateur comedians come up. They have 1 minute to do a set. And usually they're absolutely the most horrible things you've ever heard in your life. And then they interview them afterwards. The interviews are sometimes funny. Like one guy, we found out he was homophobic, attempted murderer, and he went to jail for it. But outside of that, it's not that funny. Everyone recommended it to me. I listened to 2 episodes. It's not that funny.
Yeah, I just see that Shane Gillis is the last person they had on there, and that's all I got to see. Because
I like Shane Gillis. He's funny.
I think he's one of the least funny people out right now. He has like no charisma.
He's not like haha
so
funny,
boring.
But he's like
he's like I'll watch him for 5 minutes and then get over it funny. But he's so
like
big right now,
bro. He's like college
not
bro funny. That's college bro funny guys are always going to be big because there are a lot of college bros.
I think I think there was somebody posted a joke of his on Twitter and they're like, this is one of the funniest things I ever heard. I watched the whole joke, didn't even crack a smile. I was like, all right, bro. Yeah.
I liked his SNL
it's okay.
opening. That was kind of funny.
Oh yeah, no. Well, I mean, he kind of deserved that considering they kicked him off for, being a comedian, but
Yeah.
Still don't think he's funny.
What can I tell you about a podcast?
Sure, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I started listening to a podcast, Scumbags of History.
Oh yeah, I introduced this one to you.
You did. And I listened to several episodes. Some of them are really funny. The hosts are cute, but it's kind of the same thing over and over, even though it's a different person they're reviewing. So after listening to 5, that's enough.
Yeah, it's enough. Also, I think the hosts aren't very good at.
I think you just described every podcast, to be fair.
Not this
Except
one.
ours. Ours
No.
is. That's the thing. We have rotating topics. I feel like when it's just like you talk about one thing over and over, it just kind of.
Well, their podcast is about taking these famous people we know in
Right.
history and talking about like how horrible
What
they
horrible
were in
things
actual
they
real
did.
life.
Yeah.
The information is interesting. I think the hosts to me are just kind of grating a little bit because they're
know.
comedians and then they get into their own thing, but it's
Right.
not always that funny and it's not always like.
But they
and then-
laugh as if it's hilarious.
Yeah, they laugh as if it's hilarious. And I kind of wish there's another podcast that's called Stuff You Should Know. And
these people don't
it's
even
about
look
all
funny.
these things that you should know about the world around you. And they do a lot of research beforehand, and then they come to the show and they tell you all this. It's the same two guys every time, but they give you all this information about stuff you should know.
And it's good stuff, right?
It's good stuff. It's interesting stuff. It's stuff
Right.
it's stuff like you should know, but you probably don't. Like, how
Right.
does a hot dog get made, or how
Right.
do, like, why is certain things a certain way? And they like do a lot of research, and they have sources, and they come and talk to you, and they're fun to listen to. These two on the
Right.
Everyone's a Scumbag show, it's just like he liked to have sex with his daughter. Like that's it the whole time.
And the thing
it's kinda-
is, they'll tell you, don't quote what we say because it could not be true. It's like you're just saying stuff.
yeah, right, exactly.
I don't like that.
Einstein one was pretty good though.
Einstein was pretty good. I did not like the Mother Teresa one.
I
I think
didn't-
they lied on her.
well, if
I've heard Mother Teresa's kind of a dick.
if they don't bring sources or information, yeah, it's kind of like
Don't
you have
say that about Mother Teresa.
Mom, wait until you hear about Gandhi.
well, Gandhi was a G with
Yeah,
a cap.
Gandhi was hanging. But no. Don't say
Gandhi
that
let his
about
wife
Mother
die because he
Teresa.
didn't believe in medicine. So
Well, so did Steve Jobs, but we
Yeah,
don't.
that could happen.
no, he let himself die because he didn't believe in medicine. That's different. You can kill yourself. That's fine. Don't do it for somebody else though.
One is a mishap, the other is on purpose. I guarantee you.
The wife would. Okay.
All right. Thanks for listening to the show. This has been the Super Chevy Brothers podcast. We'll see you next week for episode 144. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.